We finally got her back, baby. So pretty much just to show you guys exactly what was wrong with the car. So obviously BMWs are known for leaking coolant. So pretty much the coolant was leaking from this tank and then going on to the injector. Somewhere down here, under here, this whole thing, it was leaking down and then messing up the injector. So the injector is covered by warranty. Now I just want to talk about that a little bit. Okay, here it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this mounted up top and then we'll go from there. So what this is, I can just mount this up to here so that way you can get a view of kind of like the inside of the car as well. All right, phone is set up. All right, I think we're good. All right, let's go. We're heading to the Bronx just to go get some food. I figured why not record a quick little POV. Of course, we always put it in sport. Probably sport regular. And then once it warms up, we'll play around with Sport Plus. But yeah, I'm curious what you guys think about the whole warranty and then BMW and all this little problems with the coolant and stuff like that. Because I genuinely thought like once they sent the letter saying that, we have this problem, they would cover a little bit more than just a fuel injector. Like obviously you guys have a problem with your cars leaking coolant. So obviously it's not the fuel injector, it's the parts that are making it leak coolant or whatever the case is. So I figure like why not cover whatever's leaking, right? Like why not cover the parts that's causing it to leak coolant? I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking from a perspective of like, oh, this makes sense to me because like I'm the one paying for it. So, but anyway, I'm just happy to have the car back. Definitely got to figure out the shutter part of the car so we could get that fixed. But we'll figure it out. Get rid of that check engine light. I do miss the car though. I do miss driving this car, I'm not gonna lie. The 2025 330 was cool. If you guys want, you could go watch that video to see the review that I did on that car. When this car was in the shop, they actually gave us that for a loaner, so it was pretty cool, Also do want to get into more car reviews. I also want to review people's cars who are, they just have it modded or they've done something crazy to the car. I think that'll be a cool series where I'll just go out and like, talk to people and, their plans for their cars and pretty much going around and getting people to explain their journey and building their car. Also like whatever they have planned next for the car. I'm not gonna lie, every time something goes wrong with this car, I'm always telling myself I want to go back to Mopar. Like Mopar has its problems, but nowhere near on the level of this car. And then of course we had a lot of problems with the Hellcat, but realistically it's because we bought a built Hellcat. Like somebody already modded the car, it was tuned, and we kind of was figuring out a lot of things about the car as we as we drove the car pretty much. So as the problems came, we took it to shops. I mean, Dodge didn't really know what they were doing because it's a tuned car pretty much. So we went to a bunch of different shops that just didn't know what they were doing. And then we finally went to a very reputable, tuner. And they pretty much was able to tell us exactly what was wrong with the car. So we were in the process of getting everything fixed. But that's a story for another video. Definitely got a lot of comments of people saying like, yeah, like you stole somebody's picture of a Hellcat and you put it as your profile picture, blah, blah, blah. But that's not the case. I'll link my Instagram down below. You'll see like all the content we created with the car. Also I do photography, so I did photography. I haven't done photography in a while, honestly, but yeah, I took that picture. I feel like this is one of my best pictures in the car photography space. But I don't know, like people comment that all the time saying like, yeah, like you think you're cool, but you stole somebody's picture of a Hellcat. You wish you had a Hellcat, this, that, and the third. So I'll explain that in another video. I'll tell an entire Hellcat story in another video, because that is a story on its own. That's a video for its own, you know. But I do miss Mopar, and I think every time I run into problems in this car, I just always think about like, yeah, like I want to go back to Mopar. Like, you know, I'm sick of this. The only problem is I don't see myself going to another Mopar that's not a Hellcat. Like, I feel like I can't do SRT, I can't do Scat Pack. I just can't do it. I have to do a Hellcat or a Trackhawk. It's not gonna feel the same. It's gonna feel much different. I'm gonna feel the power difference. The only reason why this feels so comfortable is because it's all-wheel drive. So it doesn't feel as terrible as like or as slow as like a 392, you know? Like, I felt the difference easily, like instantly. You know, we had a 392 Daytona, and then we went to a Hellcat, and I just felt the difference. And I don't know if it was because it was tuned. Like, we don't know to like what extent or how much power did the car have because of the tune, but we just know that it was tuned, and we know that it was much faster than the Scat Pack. So like when I make videos, or I made videos saying that, you know, like the Scat Pack is slow, whatever the case is, like it kind of is compared to like a lot of cars. Like, you know, I don't think there's Scat Packs on this level, like on the level of a M550. Honestly, like I don't think a Scat Pack could keep up with this thing, you know. It's like the power levels are pretty similar, but you have the all-wheel drive that's gonna like, it's gonna beat you off the line, of course, you know. I don't know, man. I feel like I'm just yapping, honestly, but I do want to make a video talking about my experience from owning the 392 to owning the Hellcat to now owning the M550. About to head on the highway. Whatever you guys do, do not hit this highway and put on M-Box. It's a bad combination right there, man. It's a nice 340, you know, rest in peace, one stock. Yo, I'll be hearing cars from my window under this thing going crazy. Like, you know, we live right across the water from this highway, so when cars go under there and they're loud, we can hear it going crazy, you know. I'm not gonna lie though, if you guys are watching me, please don't expect me to be on a level of like Squeeze Benz and all these other people, man. Like, you know, I do cut up sometimes, but like I try to do it as safe as possible. Like, I am not risking, you know, crashing my car or crashing into anybody else's car and like ruining somebody's day. Like, you know, and when I cut up, I do it at a slower speed. You know, I'm not at 100 plus cutting up going crazy. So that M240 is clean. Heading to the Bronx, you feel me? Let's put this thing in Sport Plus. This thing feel good, man. See, man, yo, I'll be sitting here talking about like, yeah, like I want to go back to Mopar until I drive this car and I hear the crackles and I hear the pops. It does sound amazing. It feels amazing. It feels super quick. Yo, I almost made a mistake too, right? When we bought this car, there was another 550 that was like tuned and it didn't have cats. It sounded crazy. And I was ready to buy that car, I'm not gonna lie. But the deal was, it was terrible. Like, they wanted too much. It's like, yo, these dealerships gotta understand, like, you can't be selling cars like that at that price. Like, it's already a risk for me to buy the car. No matter what the price is, it's a risk. Because it's like, once something happens and I have to spend all this money to try to figure out what the problem is, you know, it's like, okay, I paid whatever for the car, but now like that price is adding up at the end of the day. So it's like, people gotta understand that. These dealerships, they just don't understand that, you know. But next time we go to a dealership, like, we're gonna make a video about it, because like There's always content to be made in these dealerships. Like, it's crazy the way these dealerships try to rip you off. Like, it's insane. That M550 that we were gonna buy, for example, they wanted like an extra $12,000 in fees on top of the price that was already too high, you know. So pretty much it was like they wanted like 37 for the car, but then it came up to like 50K, and plus taxes and fees, it was gonna be like 50 something. It was insane. It was just like, it didn't make any sense. I'm like, yo, that doesn't make any sense. Like, it's like I gotta pay all these fees on top of the price. The car's not even worth that, right? Like, if you look up the car, if you look up the VIN, let's say you were to try to sell that car, I'm getting like, you know, almost $20,000 less than what I would be paying for it. But it was insane. It was just like, that's one thing. Then like, there was scratches, like the mirror cap was all scratched up. There was like scratches on the fender. Obviously it didn't have cats. This is what it's like driving in the Bronx. Look at this. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, maybe he's like teaching her to drive. Anyway, man, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'm about to go get some food real quick, head home, and just enjoy this Sunday, this beautiful Sunday, winter Sunday. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.